What's up, everybody? It's Sugar Erica from the Classy Climb blog. Hope you guys are hearing me well. Drop your city and state in the chat. I brought on DJ the Money Coach to bring on after he spent, I think, a couple days or dipped off, went back to Africa on us, but he is back in America. I want you guys to enjoy this conversation piece today. If you saw my earlier video today, it is what it is. We've got the silly out of our system. I also want you guys to realize that whenever I do this channel, I want you guys to have the best version of your life, right? Whenever we have people send like desperate emails like, oh man, I got to get a refund back on $10 ebook or $20 something or a 20 something course, what it shows me is people are out here really struggling. And this channel is for you to be able to grow your money, wisely invest your money, and wisely manage your money. And if we can't help you do that, I want to put you somewhere you can get that help, because that's what I see when I see some of those emails from our VAs. And it leads me to great concern, right? Because if $27 or $50 throws you out of the loop, you're sliding on a dangerous slope as we speak. And the upcoming years are going to be kind of harsh. So mindset matters. I want you guys to be aware. I want you to drop your city and state in the chat. And DJ the Money Coach, introduce yourself to the audience, if you could, please.
Hey, what's happening? This is yours truly, DJ the Money Coach, and I am just like you, ladies and gentlemen. Back in the day, about 25 years ago, I had earned myself an amazing 525 credit score. I had a college degree with a minor in accounting, and I actually had accumulated $60,000 worth of debt, $40,000 worth of credit card debt, and $20,000 worth of student loans. And I did not even know this. I knew it, but I didn't really know it because I never seen it on paper. Mm-hmm. So I actually walked into a bank, had a professional income, Ericka, and tried to get a mortgage, and I got denied. And then a couple of years later, I had started a business and went in to go get a business loan, and I got denied. And at that point, Ericka, instead of playing victim, I became victorious, and I did like you did. I actually started looking up information, and I read a book called The Road to Wealth. And I actually only read one chapter in the book, and it was about personal finance.
He was like, that's enough.
Yeah. So here's the irony of it. I knew how to do P&Ls. I knew how to do ledgers. I could do anything from a corporate structure for accounting because I had a minor in accounting, went to school to be a CPA that I didn't become, but I knew nothing about personal finance. Mm-hmm. So at that point, I decided to learn about personal finance, which should be taught at the 4th grade level. So I read that chapter called Personal Finance About Credit, and in 12 months, my credit score, this is in the analog days, ladies and gentlemen. This was not when the internet was prevalent like it is. This is back in the mid 90s, okay? Mm-hmm. Like 96, 97. So I want y'all to get perspective, okay? Get perspective. I was about 28, 27 years of age. Get perspective, okay? So you still had to go to the library. You still had to go get people who actually give you this information. It wasn't at the palm of my hand like the smartphone millionaire, which Ericka has taught, thousands of people. Okay. So after reading that chapter, I started changing my habits. And, I changed my habits. Instead of playing victim, I didn't file bankruptcy because I didn't have anybody put a gun in my head to actually have me charging on these credit cards. I voluntarily did it. So I manned up because that's what my father and my grandfather taught me. I took a responsibility and accountability for my actions, which were, terrible. So I changed that. 12 months, my credit score went to 700. 24 months from that, my credit score went to 800. And within 5 years, I paid off all of my debt. 5 years, I paid off all my debt. And about 6 years later, 2002, I paid off all my debt. 2008, Ericka, I became a $250,000 income personal earner and a 7-figure net worth guy. And my stuff has not went back since. So the moral of the story is I learned how to change my habits. I learned how to pay off all my consumable debt, earn my freedom. And then I went out, Ericka, and I actually started vetting professionals in what's called the 7 spheres of money. I actually found accountants, bankers, financial planners, legal advisors, estate planners, budgeters, and I started incorporating that in my own personal lifestyle. And then I realized in middle class America and working class America, nobody had these relationships. And I started teaching a program in my church called Faith, Love, and Money. And my church started to incorporate it. And I saw people's lives changing for basic stuff. And then I started teaching it in corporate America, Ericka. And then at that point, fast forward 20 years later, I have sat down with 25,000 people between churches, nonprofits, state of Illinois, state of Michigan, Janpro, which is the largest commercial cleaning company in the North America and Canada.
Mhm.
I've actually done the financial education program for the Montgomery Regional Airport in Alabama. I've been sought out. I taught predatory lending courses, and I created a program called Family Finance 101 that
Mhm.
corporate America uses to this day because it is the principles that are basic fundamental rules like being a millionaire next door that have created financial independence for people across a country. And we have done that proudly for 20 years. It'll actually be 20 years in June that we have started down this endeavor from 2002. And we actually now help people on these platforms over the past 2 years to actually do the same thing. So I'm not a YouTuber. I'm actually a B2B guy. And
Mhm.
actually, I got some great, stuff that I want to share with your people tonight because we're going to show you really what cooperative economics
Right.
is from a licensed perspective. I am a licensed
Mhm.
professional. I want to
Mhm.
reiterate that. I used to be a licensed certified charter senior financial planner. I used to be a licensed certified estate advisor. I used to manage over $50 million worth of assets when I started my own practice. And now I'm just a licensed life, health, auto, property, and casualty, but I haven't written a insurance policy, Ericka, of any shape, size, or form for 12 years. I just vet the professionals for working class and middle class America. And then I have a super niche where I actually help people that look like us as
Right.
well.
Right. Right.
And I'm sought after across the country by Fortune 500 and Fortune 50 companies to provide these services, Ericka.
So DJ, someone just came in. They're like, "Man, this man telling me his whole daggone life. Now, what that got to do with me? Now, I'm gonna tie it in for you guys. Right now, people say, Erica, black people are broke, and I counter that with we just saw the documentary, German produced documentary that says 1 in 50 African Americans are upper middle class. 1 in 50. Now, here's where it makes sense. You're going to say, Erica, but they're making more money. Everything's great. You have to be able, it's not only just making the money, it's defending the money, it's in investing the money. We all know a guy or girl who had a good 2, 3 year run at a great company, great job. They got a new car, new house, and then something went left. We all know stories of people who had things happen to them, and it's because they weren't also playing defense. They were just running out, going offense, offense, offense. Look at all this money I'm making. Look at all this stuff I have. One of the biggest pushbacks I get, DJ, is people didn't know all these things exist. Right? I did a training for 2 hours a week or so ago, and people were like, "What? All these different companies exist?" Yes, all countless companies exist to get your data, your information, and use it against you, baby. That's the game, right? And so a lot of people who say, "Well, I make good money and my credit score's not that bad," I didn't know I'm going to be pushed into subprime. Subprime is where the money's at. Writing cheap, terrible policies, giving people crappy loans, that's where the money's at. And so it's not just making money, and that's a big component of this channel is about you making money and the various ways you can make money, but it's also being able to defend the money, defend your house, right? We did a great video. Well, we broke down this woman's $100,000 a year income. Well, they were too much car, too much insurance, too much phone. These are small things that leak money out your boat. I talked to them, DJ. I said a couple days ago, and I said, listen, people give me pushback on $10 a week. I go, listen, I need you to take $10 a week and either buy some dividend stock, particularly in these groups, or some silver, some gold, something you can feel tangible you can do. $10, Erica? And what they don't understand is I'm building them the habit of every week they're researching, they're looking up the prices of gold, they're looking up the prices of silver, they're looking up dividend stocks. And by the time they've done this for a while, they're comfortable because they built a habit to now go out and seek other investments or bigger piles of money to invest towards it. And so in your encountering all these people, especially probably those in the corporate America, are they just not knowing? Are they just not learning? Are they just out here on offense, just trying to make more money? What's some of the things you're seeing?
Well, first and foremost, they misconstrued income with wealth,
Hmm.
and they misconstrued financial intelligence, with income. So the
Hmm.
first thing I would encourage your people to do is to go out and get this book called The Hidden Costs of Being African American,
Hmm.
the hidden costs of being African American.
Right.
And the reason why that's so important is because when you're a first-time professional income earner, and what I call a professional income earner from a single perspective is that you make $60,000 or more per year. That's professional income. Okay. And I hear you. You probably say, hey, I do sanitary, I do administrative, and I make that kind of money. Well, guess what? I don't differentiate between blue collar, white collar. I just tell you what professional income is, because right now the household median income in the country for Americans is like $56,000. Okay. Yeah. So if you as an individual make $60,000, that's professional income.
You kicking butt.
Right. And then on the married side or the cohabiting side, whatever you want to call it, two people living together, married, whatever, up to $250,000. Okay. So you immediately equate that is you think you are wealthy, but you're not. Because here's the thing. If you were to stop working tomorrow, would that $5,000 a month, which is equivalent to 60 grand, keep coming in? And at $250,000 a month, which is equivalent to basically $24,200 a month, would that keep coming in? The answer is no. So you're not wealthy. You're not even rich. You just have an income. So the first thing you have to do is start to develop assets. And how do you develop assets? By doing what you said strategically from the basic part where I call the crawl, walk, run program. Okay. So when I got turned down for the mortgage and the small business loan, I had professional income and I thought I was wealthy. I was not. I thought I was a high income earner. I was not. And I didn't have the staples that are taught in other communities in my habits, which is automatically fully fund the Roth IRA, automatically fully contribute to the 401k, 403b, 401a, et cetera, et cetera. If you're a small business owner like yourself and myself, have yourself a self-employment pension plan. And if you start contributing $10 a week, and as your income increases percentage-wise and you made the adjustments, you will be on your pathway to a millionaire next door in 20 years.
Especially when your company matches 100% for free. That's free money.
So those are some of the first myths that we debunk. And here's the irony. These people at the higher incomes, they have more problems than the people at the lower incomes, Ericka, because there was a study that actually aired on 2020, round about 2002, where they showed professionals that had professional debt that were PhDs, doctors, and lawyers that knew nothing about personal finance.
They had to keep working.
Exactly. And they were up over their heads in debt. And just over the past 30, 45 days, last time we sat down, I've actually sat down with about 15 professionals that have an average median income of about $110,000, but they have debt of $140,000, $300,000. And some of them have mortgages that 40-year mortgages. But you wouldn't be able to tell that person they're not a high income wealthy person.
There's a guy that says, don't make decisions for your 50-year-old body with your 35-year-old back. Right? You know, and I was at a music concert the other night when Will Smith was cutting up. I was at the music concert. I'm out there just, about 3.5 hours in, the back is like, girl, we need to find a chair. But I could look and see other 50, 60-year-old people still going. And I was like, bump that. I'm going to stay in here. I'm going to keep going. And what people don't understand is I'm making a joke about, standing for 3 hours in cowboy boots. But you have to understand, you guys are making decisions long-term for yourself. I remember seeing this woman who had an older husband. He was 52. She was 36. He had a stroke. He was the money. Right? And so people at church were like, all right, we're going to sit her down. We're going to explain to her, this is how this is going to work. You're going to get this insurance payout. And hopefully in a year and a half, after all this therapy and stuff, he can get back to work. She's 36 with 2 little kids. She didn't have no plans to go back to work. She had toddlers. I think they were like 2. And so people out here assume that they'll be forever in this great health, great condition. They got a wife. She's younger than me. I'm going to be chilling. Like, that's not guaranteed for anybody. And here, this man who was making close to $185 a year, it was an emergency. Like, stop everything. He had a mini stroke. He's struggling to get up. We got to figure out how we're going to move this money around. So when people say, hey, I just got to make more money, that really is not an honest assessment of what we have to do in this economy. And people don't like that.
It's the furthest thing from the truth. It's really, you have to budget. You have to assess your situation. You have to actually put a defensive strategy in place, is what our accountants talk to our people about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, you have to actually go into the future and say, hey, you know what, DJ, you need to prepare for DJ at 50, 60 years of age and add a
Mm-hmm.
cost of inflation, taxation to your quotient. So when we do an assessment for people, we actually show them what their income is today. So if you were making an income of $50,000 today and it never increased with the cost of living, taxation, inflation, and you're 25 at 50, that's equivalent to $75,000 a year in income. And
Mm-hmm.
if that is the case, if you just start doing the basics again, see, this stuff ain't sexy. You know, this don't sell tickets, but it
Mm-hmm.
sells, you know, security if you do this right. And see, another problem is people don't like to look at their what do you call it? When we're invulnerable, when we think we're gonna live forever, you
Mm-hmm.
know, their mortality. That's the
Mm-hmm.
hardest thing in the community, is that you don't want to think about when you're gonna be dying. But if you
Right.
plan this stuff in the head, you actually end up being better in life. And so I always teach my children as well as our members. I teach them this little saying. I say, hey, master the hard things in life,
Mm-hmm.
and the older you get, life gets easier. Master the easy things in life, do the shortcut, and live that fast life. Life gets hard as hell.
Yeah.
But you can offset all of that by, number one, sitting down, taking an hour a week, and having a family meeting. See, here's the thing. We will spend more money on concerts, entertainment, and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
just like you said, versus putting $10 aside for my children. And I'll give you a classic example. So two of my sons just had birthdays because they're March babies, just like you, right?
Hey, Pisces, we the best. No.
You know what we did with them? We
Uh-huh.
sat down at their birthday, and so what we do is we give them $100 for every age that they, you know, became. So
Mm-hmm.
I sat down and I gave them each, you know, four, you know, figures, and you know what that money went to? I showed it to them, and then I immediately deposited into their custodial Roth IRA.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, here's the worst thing going to happen to you. If you mess up through life, you got a net to catch you at 55, 65 years of age. Because I didn't have that net, I'm putting that net in place for them. And so
Mm-hmm.
they don't even realize that their future is already protected. And you can do the same thing. And even if you can't, if you put $10, let me show you the power of math. Because this is important. Because you know, hey, we know how to get Gucci with it and all that BS, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a numbers guy, and it's called actuary science. Okay. These are the people who create the life insurance policies and annuities. Their job as actuaries is actually to see probability of somebody your age and my age, how long we're going to live before we
Yep.
start, you know, dying, and then how long we're going to live before we have, you know, need for short-term care. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they do. They crunch numbers and they give a projection and they make money based off. So if I just go in here in this booklet, it's called How to Be a Millionaire. And I look up the age of a person. So if you're 38 years of age right now,
Mm-hmm.
you got 27 years to official retirement, which is 65. If you get a 12% rate of return on your money for 27 years, Ericka, you only got to put aside $428 a month. That is almost equivalent to what you're telling people. $10 a day is $300 a month. Add an extra, but that
Mm-hmm.
same person, they'll find money for Jordans, they'll find money for Gucci, they'll find money for all this BS, but they won't take the time to take 1 hour a week and find 428 reasons to protect their enterprise, their children's enterprise, and anything else. So that's where the disconnect is. And so when you read this book, The Hidden Costs of Being African American by Dr. Shapiro, he does a case study. And see, when I recommend books to people, I recommend business books and case studies. So there is no speculation. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So in that book, he shows Caucasians, he shows blacks and Hispanics, and show how their wealth is generated versus
Mm-hmm.
their income. He gives an example of a first-time college graduate that is black, and then a working class white family who grandparents and parents gave them a down payment for their house, paid for their college. And so they walk right into a middle class community and they're making 30, 40,000, but the black professional is making 80 to 100, right?
Yep. Keep going.
And then they are less fortunate than the working class Caucasian because they carrying everybody on their back and they know nothing about these things. So that's the first thing, is did you get assessment? And Miss Jones is great. Wow, didn't know about a custodial IRA. So let me tell you about the custodial IRA. Just came into law about 4, maybe 5 years ago. I think it was 4 years ago. Okay. And you need to be apprised of the tax codes because they're written for your advantage. So the custodial Roth IRA says this: all you have to do is have your child make $600 a year in 1099 or employment income, and you can fully fund a regular Roth IRA like you had. So you know why they instituted this, Ericka?
Uh-huh.
Because the people in the Senate and the people in the House, they wanted to benefit them personally. Do you know that the Roth IRA has only been around since 1998? Did you know that the 401k has only been around since 1978? But if you implement these rules and take advantage of compound interest, which is the eighth wonder of the world, you can systematically, like the tortoise, win the race by doing basic things.
Did I tell
I've
you?
got another case study book for you that shows a gentleman who was actually a janitor that worked for 40 years and actually was worth $10 million after doing dollar cost averaging, asset allocation, and setting aside a little bit of money every week into the right fund. So what the Harvard Review said is 94.7% of all investments are determined by the vetting and the picking in the industry. And I always share with people, you make your money on the purchase, not on the sale. You make your money on the purchase, not on the sale. What's going on right now, Ericka? There's a fire sale in the market for your people. There
So
you go.
this one right here, if you're like, hey, I don't know all these different books, this is one of the books. Is Millionaire by 30. It's a father and two sons wrote the book. You know, it's a good way to get your children a royalty check forever, right? And in this book, what I thought was so crazy is both their boys were only making 30,000 a year. Me and you have talked about this. Coming out of school, taking them entry level sales jobs, making 30K a year. But the difference is their son, and part of the book it talks about being a millionaire in 17 years, 13 years, and 10 years. And what ends up happening is if you guys get to check this book out, trying to see if I can find the there's a triangle in here. I
All
might
they
not be
doing
able
is
to
taking
see it.
advantage of dollar cost averaging,
Yep.
asset allocation, and compound interest, and they're putting
Buying.
about 15 to 20% of their
Hmm.
taxable dollars into these vehicles that I just talked about.
Basically, I was trying to agree with you. There's the triangle. If you guys ever buy this book, I don't even care if you get me an affiliate. 167, page 167. This is exactly what DJ the Money Coach is breaking down. Many people are like, "Oh, Ericka, it's so complicated what you guys are saying." I'm like, "You guys, this is written. This is published information. This is consistently out there. You have to invest in yourself.
Right.
It starts somewhere." So when I talk to y'all about $10 a week and people roll their eyes, I worked at Lowe's and watched grown men mad because the company would take, they had a match system, up to 7%. We'll match whatever you have. And it got so bad, Lowe's was like, you know what? We're going to force everyone in the company 2% off their check right off the top.
Mhm.
And then people are like, hey, what's going on? 2%, and they're matching you for free for 7%. So a lot of times I'm thinking these guys, I'm like, dude, your check is $1,000. Give that $80 and get
Right.
it matched and
And
keep
it's
it
pre and it's
moving.
and it's pre-tax dollars, so that means you're getting all of it.
Yeah.
You're getting
And
all
so
of it.
so
You
you
you, you
have those situations where people really don't understand this, DJ. It's
right.
it's new to them. People really aren't encouraged to read. They're really on chill mode. And so I keep trying to tell y'all, like, by the time everybody knows it or it's taught at high school, it's way late.
It's too late.
Right? By the time they're in Florida trying to teach personal finance in Florida, which is great. Glad we're doing it. But it's 20 years too late.
Right.
It's 20 years too late for a lot of folks. But
So what I
good.
always share with our people, I say, here, let me give you a roadmap to success. So we all conditioned to try to go into the entertainment, the athletic world, right? So
Mhm.
once you realize that your child has the ability to shoot a basketball, kick a soccer ball, catch a football, swim or swing a golf club or a tennis racket, that's usually around about 4 to 6 years of age. If they're going to be a prodigy that you're going to invest 10,000 hours of deliberate practice in. At that same time, Ericka, you should sit them down and teach them about money because it ain't rocket science.
Oh,
And
oh, I know what I had for you. I saved something for you. I screenshotted it. I saved it for you to see it. Did you hear about the black kid that did the and I said DJ the Money could do this in the future. Let me pull it up. Hawkins Capital. Hawkins Way Capital, NLI deal. Okay. So, did you
you
see
talking
this?
about the NIL?
Yeah, but this is the Caleb Williams. Everybody know who I'm talking about?
Yep.
Remember
Yep. He
Caleb
plays for
Williams?
USC now.
Okay, hold on, y'all. Hold on. Gets good.
Yeah.
Okay, because remember, I'm not trying to knock Oklahoma. I think any state, any school you're allowed to play in, you can make a future out of it. You can make money out of it. No disrespect. But when your coach goes to California, guess what you're going about to do? You're going to California. Okay, so here it is. Caleb Williams signs a revolutionary NIL deal with $2 billion real estate equity fund in Beverly Hills. I don't care what y'all say. Out of every deal that you'll ever hear, this is the best. This kid is going to be on front row, whether he makes it to NFL or not. He's going to be on the front row of
Oh,
partnerships,
he just
deals.
made himself a
He's a
multi-millionaire.
millionaire.
Now,
Yes,
hey,
he's
let me
19.
insert here. Let me give you a
Mm-hmm.
cautionary tale, okay?
Yep.
All right. So everybody see that screenshot that? Take that off and let me talk to you about this.
Go ahead.
Let me tell you the importance of this. Because he just signed a multi-million-dollar deal. Now, if him and his parents are not stewards of that money, easy come, easy go. So what's the importance of this? The importance of is right now, that contract just triggered him the ability to do a custodial Roth IRA. That contract just triggered the ability for his corporation that he should incorporate to actually have the funds distributed to him. He just triggered an SEP. Are y'all hearing me? Why is that important? Because the self-employment pension plan, he can put in up to $56,000 to $64,000 a year as an individual employee of a corporation. Now, if his parents were getting the right advice, they would set up a corporate structure, have him under it, and actually facilitate those two things right off the grip. And if he didn't touch that money, Ericka, because that kid's about 19 years of
He's
age.
19, and they were been talking to him since August.
Right. So let's go back to this. And let me tell you why this is important, Ericka, because guess what? We are actually sitting down, and this is a shameless plug, but it is facts. And you can check my resume, baby. Okay. So here's the deal. That kid's 18 years of age. 19. He just turned 19 because he took over the job for the kid at Oklahoma and was amazing. And the kid also has like 2-3 million followers.
Yeah.
On his social platform. Okay. Yep. So he could actually sit down and put $49 a month, and he will have an extra million. So for every million that he signs tax free, he would actually, by the rule of 72, his money would double every 10 years, Ericka. So on that deal right there, what you would do for him, which we're actually going to be doing, I'm going to tell your people about it. We would set him up on a budget of what the only income he needed to go through college for. He only going to play one season. So that's probably going to be his.
If you want to.
Right. So that's probably going to be about in LA. He's probably going to need about $30,000, $40,000 in LA because the cost of living is almost 3 times higher than what it was in, Oklahoma. All right. So if he takes that money, that 30 grand, and they allocate that to him, and now they create a trust as well, where he can't touch the money for certain years. And now he has, again, listen to me, ladies and gentlemen, this is important. He first has the custodial Roth IRA set up. Why is that important? Because every dollar in a Roth IRA never gets taxed on the interest ever again in life. The other most important thing about it, because if he set it up properly, Ericka, and he doesn't need the money at retirement, he don't have to distribute the money. Okay, that's important. All right. Now he takes the SEP and have his parents working in his corporation, and he can allocate to his parents up to $64,000 per person under a self-employment pension plan in of itself. Okay. And then he can get himself a HSA, savings insurance plan as well. And you know what the other policy he is going to have to protect him if he gets hurt before he goes to the NFL? He's going to have a Lloyd's of London contract on his arm.
And legs. Shit.
And,
legs. My booty.
Exactly. He's going to have all that covered. But you know what he ain't going to have? If he don't have the right people like us, he's not going to have an income interruption policy to cover that NIL. Because here's what they don't know about them NILs. They're just like scholarships. They are mutable per year. What do I mean, guys? That means that they can actually terminate the contract per year, just like a scholarship. Okay, so when you look at football, here's the big problem in football. When people talk about these big contracts, the only thing that matters in a football contract is the signing bonus. Do you hear me? The signing
and
bonus
guaranteed money.
Exactly. And that's why what Deshaun Watson just got guaranteed $230 million, that set a precedent. But that's not the norm. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you set these things down on the fundamentals and the name, image, and licensing for every kid that comes out, that kid will be set for life off of that one contract. But here's what's going to happen. That's not going to happen. That's not, you know why that's not going to happen, Ericka? Because them vehicles I just told you about, it don't make their agent a penny. I'm going to say this again. It don't make the agent a penny because the agent is not representing the financial side. They're representing the contract. So now, in order for him to actually get an advisor, he'd have to get an advisor. And then the tricky language is, does that make him a professional?
Oh,
Are you,
they've played with that wording and the legal team probably since August.
they massage that. So
They be
let me
like,
tell you. So let me tell you this. Guess what? On April 7th, yours truly, I will be sitting down with my team of professionals, my CPA, my certified wealth advisor who manages $2.5 billion in assets, who is a former athlete, and my sales executive who actually does millions of dollars of transactions in corporate America. We will be sitting down with a university the same size of USC that actually is more profitable. And you know what we will be talking to them about, Ericka? NILs and financial literacy for the student athlete and the parents. And guess what, Ericka? They sought us out. I'm going to say that again. They sought us out. So we can set the precedent in our own community. And not only did we do that, Ericka, we will be announcing on our anniversary a major deal that I just took down with the 6th largest financial institution in the world. And we can now take the excuses out because the NIL is new, just like crypto. Are you feeling me? Just like crypto. So guess what's going to happen? There's going to be 3 to 4 players in the NIL market to actually provide services for these student athletes and their parents, just like the trip to the pros. You know who's going to be a player? We are, Ericka. And we're going to be totally operated by us, for us, with us, where we will eliminate the opportunity for somebody to come in and pillage our community on these new multi-million dollar, billion-dollar NILs, because that's the future, and that's going to actually erode the power of the NCAA.
It really is. I mean, I want y'all to understand, he probably going to meet Gary Vee before me. Now, I met Gary Vee twice here in Austin, but Gary Vee talked about this years ago, and people said, this man is crazy. And I was telling people, I'm like, his goal isn't marketing. His goal isn't advertising. His goal, putting that headquarters in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and helping his brother set up this whole sports side, was to be the manager and the media for sports people.
Exactly.
All this
Gary
other
Vee.
stuff.
Look at
Like,
all what these pivoting these cats, these major influencers. What they doing? Gary Vee, they getting in the sports business. And who's in the sports business? 78% of the sports commodity is what? People that look like you and me. But 90% is owned and operated by who? People that don't look like us.
Oh yeah, listen, McCoy, you already know they're trying to change the laws in Florida.
Yeah, well, here's what you need to know, McCoy, that the NIL laws are state to state. They differentiate state to state.
That's
and
why
there's already been a precedent established in at the University of Utah on how they can actually take the NILs and actually fund scholarships for walk-on players to benefit just as well as the high-end, prospect. And we're going to be deep entrenched in that in our community because we've been doing this for 20 years, Ericka. You hear me? I literally have 3 CPAs on our staff that don't have less than 25 years of expertise. One CFO used to be with Tyson Foods. The second one is actually used to do billion-dollar tax returns for Exxon Mobil. The third one used to do all the small business corporations in Chicagoland that represented over 6,000. I hope people that are listening to this comprehend the magnitude. And getting back to your first question, what are the things that I see when we sit down with people that they just don't understand and they're baffled or they just need more education? It's first and foremost, assess your situation and don't assume you know everything because you're making $150,000 a year. Only thing you know how to do is earn money. You don't know how money works for you, and you don't know how to maximize the tax laws to leverage the playing field because you never taught about that. Because if I went to school to be a CPA and I got $60,000 for debt and earned a 525 credit score, and you ain't never went through a college class in your life, how do you know?
I'm telling y'all, listen, the market's changing really fast, and I was somewhere and I watched this kid play music, and I just was recording it real quick and tagging it. And his father walked over, hey, my son's Instagram is yada yada yada, da 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 da, right? And my friend was like, I think they think you're some kind of music exec. I said, no, you just never know. You never know who the market's changing so fast. You don't know. I could be a music exec, and I could be out here looking to sign people, and I'm just another person in the audience recording a kid kept playing. And so I think parents are starting to go, okay, I need to record my kid. I need to save this video. I need to have the marketing, but really the money component. When we talk about show business, the word that people miss out on is the business part.
Business.
You
That's
did you
right.
see that Steve Harvey conversation? I wanted us to go over that Steve Harvey conversation.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
we ain't
And
got to do it today, but we'll
yeah,
break over your
you
accounting and your accountants and your
right.
CPA.
You make a good point. Another thing that they need to realize is that since the world has changed and the paradigm is different now, it's so much importance to have access to the professionals at an early
Mhm.
age.
Mhm.
If your kid is going to make any type of professional income and they are drawing and building a platform on these social media constructs and they're putting YouTube and IG, you should sit down and plan in advance again when your child's going to be 18. If he or she,
Yep.
just like Ryan, who was the kid that was making $20 million a
Mhm.
year on the platform at six,
Yep.
7 years of age, just doing toys.
Yeah.
But see what his parents had the wherewithal? They sat down with the accountant, the lawyer, and say, we're going to grow this platform and we're going to control everything versus somebody leveraging us for pennies on the dollar. And that's usually what we have. So what happens, Ericka, even in the music business, is that the people take the money up front because they don't come from anything and they don't understand the
They just
value
like
of the asset.
it's like a high interest credit card.
That's all.
Listen,
That's
listen.
all it is on the
Hey, somebody crack
360
me up.
bill.
Take that, take that, take that. Listen to me. I'm getting ready to trademark 3 different phrases. Actually more than 3, but I was just saying it for the record. Off this platform because that's how there's a voice going viral and everybody like 100 people said this is your voice. This video went viral and I'm like, I can't prove it. There's only so many things I can trademark. There's only so many things I can protect myself from that get out there. So we're just moving into a way that's smarter, faster, smarter.
Hey,
Like, hey, let's just do this with our money. Let's do this with our advertising. Let's do this with our marketing. And y'all got to learn, like, once you start making some more income, you can get yourself in different rooms to get the expertise.
exactly. Exactly.
But
And
you got to be thinking.
what they also have to do, they have to embody this phrase. So I want y'all to write this down. And you watching this in the replay, write this down. STEAM. STEAM. What does it mean? Science,
Somebody write in the
technology,
chat.
entrepreneurship, access, and mentorship. If you understand the power of that word, and especially the access to mentorship, and your kid is going to make any money in the future, you would plug in, sit down, get yourself assessed by a group of professionals. Here's 3 mistakes that high-end professionals make. They are reactionary to their money versus proactionary, what you talked about, a defensive strategy. What do I mean by that? Only time they talk to an accountant when it's tax time. Only
And his
time they talk
taxes
to an
jacked
attorney
up.
when they buying a house. You feel me? Only time they talk to a banker when they refinancing. But guess what? If you're making 60 to 250,000 a year, you should be talking to them 2 times a year minimum, and 3 people you should work with throughout your whole life and build relationships. You should have an accountant in your corner. You should have a financial planner in your corner, and you should have a lawyer in your corner. And here's what you shouldn't be doing. Stop going to LegalZoom and doing it cheap. If you are not going to grow a real business, then go to LegalZoom. I have nothing against LegalZoom. I used to refer people just to get them to get the menial stuff done.
I deal with Rocket Lawyer. They're professional.
Exactly. But
They
here's my
lawyers.
point. But here's
Go
my
ahead.
point, though. Even with Rocket Lawyer, I've
Yeah.
used them in the past. But if you're growing,
Mhm.
they are a NQ type of
Yeah.
service. Do you
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? If they don't know your business long term, the first one up when you call in is the
Yeah.
one you get. And if you're not well versed like you are, Ericka, you won't be able to deal with them on the right level. But you can use Rocket Lawyer because you know what to tell them. You understand what I'm saying?
I sure do.
But if I go from making 1,000 and then the next year I'm making 100,000 and I'm dealing with Rocket Lawyer or LegalZoom, now I got to start all over from scratch with the new person in queue. Do you understand what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? So when I call them, they don't know the history, even though I've been doing business with them, and you got to start all over from scratch. But as a real entrepreneur, you're going to grow with your team. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
mistake they make, because they'll, oh man, let me spend the $200 to get incorporated versus the 1,000. But you spend that 1,000, you done bought a relationship that can access multiple opportunities for you that LegalZoom, Rocket Lawyer don't even give a F about, because that
Yeah.
ain't the business they're in. You follow me? But if you're serious about making $250,000 a year, you're gonna build a relationship and pay it forward. Because like my CPA and my attorney, they get me opportunities. My attorney got me into the mobile home business. You feel
Mm-hmm.
me? My
Mm-hmm.
CPA got me a contract for 6 figures to go do financial education. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Can Rocket Lawyer, can LegalZoom do that for DJ the Money Coach? No.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll take my money though. And again, I got nothing against them. If you're going to spend that money to get it and you serious, then invest. And this is where, again, you vet the professional. And this is what a lot of people miss. They don't vet the professional. They look at the cost and they're penny wise and dollar foolish.
I told you about my old boss, right? Military contract. She was this the crazy part. She was a woman. She got a military contract for literally. This is right before she got it. She went to a lawyer. He said, "Baby, we can patent this." And this is no. I mean, it's been so many years now. She can't do anything to me. If you look her up, she specialized in rubberized oil pans. Her attorney said, "Listen, we can get the patent for 100 years." I can't remember the price, but it was like maybe it was like 10 grand, something stupid, right? And they were like, "Well, I can get you the patent for 3 years or like 2.5 years for this price." And guess what she did? She took the 2 year patent.
Oh,
So,
yeah, I remember you told me
so
about that.
all
I
of a
remember.
sudden,
Yep.
as soon as that 3 years was up, the China, everybody and their mom was making rubberized oil pans. But she had made a good $28 million at the beginning of the war. And it was like, as soon as that patent was over,
Yeah.
it was
It
like
was
money was going around.
Ali Oxen free. It
Yeah,
came out.
peace out. Yeah. And
Exactly.
so what I want people to understand is you got to pay for some of the stuff. Like somebody called me the other day and I said, "Wait, you should trademark that." And I was like, "You need to go call Sabine, the lawyer in New York." And they're like, "Oh, it's like 5 grand." I'm like, "But it's something you're building. It's yours. You don't want to protect it. You building on something. You don't want to trademark it."
You know
So,
what? Let me share this with you. You know what? There's a saying too. We spend money on what we want and we beg for what we need. We spend money on what we want and we beg for what we need. And we teach this in our master class all the time. We have a thing called, the lifestyle of the working broke and the lifestyle of the successful. And then we have a priority set up where if you go to the book, which I love, here's another book, shameless plug for them, but I love this book. Go get Winning by Tim Grover. And Tim Grover always talks about people want to know what are the top priorities. And he
mhm,
says every one of these are top priorities. They all are one. So in our book, we literally tell people, we say, okay, here's what we're going to do for you. You know what? We're going to look at determining my priorities. And I always tell people when I sit down with them, I said, you can label it a 1 or you can label it a 5 most important. And all of these can be 5s or all of them
mhm.
can be 1s least important. But the reality is they all have importance. But if you don't assess it, Ericka, you are missing the boat.
I
And if
tell
you,
them print out your bank statement for the month. I'm gonna show you what your number one is. I'm gonna show
here,
you what your number one
right,
is. It's usually eating out.
exactly. And here it is, lifestyle of the working broke. So we determine how they spend their money foolishly. And we say, this is what you really are invested in. You're not serious about your future because your spending habits tell us exactly what you are about. And
Right.
when people send them budget sheets to us about 500-600 every week, Ericka, they are appalled at their own spending habits. So we don't even have to say anything to them. And
Listen.
these are people to be like, oh, I don't have any money. And I'm like, okay, but you're spending $400 on the cable bill. You're spending $500 on the cell phone bill. You're spending $800 eating out every month. So right there, that's 800, 500, 1300, 400. That's $1,700 that you throwing away. That if you times that times 12, that's probably close to 20 grand a year. And you take a 7% rate of return in 10 years. That's 40 G's.
Yeah.
In 4 decades, that's $250,000.
Did we go over the one with you about the baby? If you put the custodial account, if you put, I think it's what, $2,000 away when your child's a baby and never put another dime in it. Was it 2,800?
Yeah, it's actually $2,800.
And you
You can
leave
put
it
that
and when they
aside with a
18.
7% rate of return, $1 million, baby. But
Y'all.
again, People don't believe this stuff because it ain't sexy, and they're actually showing you, just like you did your show earlier today. Why they showing you this? To distract you. Something else major is going on
Yep.
in your community that you are not, aware of. So right before I got on your show, I got off the phone with the owner of the largest commercial franchise in Houston, and he was just telling me the stuff coming down the pipe because of what's going on with Ukraine. Again, access, Ericka. You see what I'm saying? Access. So I'm getting access so I can make better decisions in my own personal, circle, and I can actually share that information with our people. And that way you don't have to play the victim game. There's no reason to play the victim game. So I want to share with these people. I got 7 secrets for them. Hold on.
Before you get to the 7 secrets, before you get to it, I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to give y'all a little playbook. Pop open your pen and paper. I'm going to tell you what's about to happen. They're going to send us 100,000 Ukrainians. I don't know if you've been to Ukraine or you've been to Eastern Europe. It's extremely poor. Extremely poor.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to come here to America. I'm going to tell you what they're going to do. They're going to pop them in various cities. They're going to give them a food stamp card. This happened in Fayetteville, Fort Bragg. They gave the Afghans some food stamp cards and a place that they stay. This is where you at. Now, this person's going to get here. They're going to spend about a week looking. Oh, my gosh. Let me go start an LLC tomorrow. Let me go get a business bank account. I got my little ID from the government. I got couple dollars. I'm going to start this business bank account for $100, and I'm going to be off the ground running. And you're going to look up this 100,000 Ukrainians they're going to send over here. And out of these 100,000 Ukrainians, they're going to be very wealthy. I don't think you guys understand what's going on with Ukraine. Several Ukrainians are dominating trucking. Part of the people that stole 60,000 from me were Ukrainians. Part of the people that were giving me all this grief in Chicago were Ukrainians. They're deep in Chicago. So they may put them all over the United States, in New York, other places, but they're going to find their people. That's just what we do. We find where our people is. So when I tell you, stop playing, be serious, go get an assessment, assess where you at. We love going on here and saying they're getting free loans and free money. Baby, if I look at your budget right now and I go check your past 5 years, I know you ain't applied for no mortgage. I know you ain't been looking for no rental property. I know you ain't did a lot of stuff. And I keep telling you, me and DJ Money Coach are on here. And I literally talked to somebody who spent a $20,000 credit card. And guess what they bought with it, DJ? Mobile home. And I said, I was like, I knew before we finished this call. That's what you did with it. And what people don't understand is, I need $100,000, $150,000. I need all this money to get in real estate and do all this stuff. And I'm like, 20K is a life changer.
5K.
5 to 15K.
Yep.
You in the door on some of these
5 to 15, you can get in the door. And again, you got to use the crawl, walk, run strategy. But see, we watch so much television and social media. We want the microwavable return without doing the work. And that don't give you long-term success. Okay. You need to know, just like a hedge fund or a venture capitalist, for every 10 projects that they invest in, only 2 hit it. 2 break even and 6 lose money. You feel me? And them 2 that make it pays for the stuff that lost for the other 8. But you don't have the ability to better take that risk.
We're going to answer this question before you go to your 7, but also someone said a $500 phone bill, that's robbery. A trademark war, that does happen. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Tax preparation is key. Most people don't want to pay that $350 per consultation to save thousands of dollars.
And let me preface this too. We got to start speaking the language properly. Stop talking about cost. You have to invest. You got to speak the proper language. See, that mind construct is very powerful, because when you start saying cost, you already have a negative connotation. So you already are going to be pushing the brakes. But when you go get something you want, you be like, oh, girl, I got this. Dude, I got this. And you be like, man, I invested in this. You see, the lingo is so powerful that you're being duped. So if you look at and spread it out, if I'm investing $5,000 with a professional and he or her can save me $10,000, $15,000 over the next 12, 24 months, that was a great investment in yourself. And even if you didn't make any money, you are wiser from the access. I heard you say earlier today or before or the other day that you've gone to over 100 plus conferences in the past several years. And there's no miracle that you are where you are, because you're accessing these people, you're utilizing the information, you're applying it, and you're getting better. It's like a rubber band. You stretch it, it doesn't go back to the original form, but we don't realize that, because again, I'm gonna say this, ladies and gentlemen, we buy what we want and we beg for what we need. So you need to get off these social media platforms, take that 1 hour a week and do some homework and apply these basic fundamentals and just systematically put that money in and forget about it. I teach people the Pay Yourself First program, and they always, oh man, I already know this. First question I ask them, let me see your application of it, boss.
Let me see your results.
Yeah, let me
Show me your bank
see
statement.
how long you've
Show
been
me your
contributing
stuff.
to this, boss. Oh, well, you know, I stopped. Okay, let me show you what you bought last month on your entertainment stuff. Oh, you got Hulu? Oh, you got Amazon Prime? You got Netflix? You got all these damn things, but you ain't applying this stuff. So, hey, who's the hypocrite? You or me? You
Well,
know?
once you start seeing them, you gotta, and also you gotta work on your mindset on how you see these things. I'm going to an event in the end of April. It's gonna be 1,000 people only at this event. Everybody in this room is partnering and building new construction and building and getting funding from banks. I went to one event in Las Vegas last year. I'm in this group. A guy in the group said, "Oh, y'all, my brother does commercial funding. What? Hold on, let me call my brother." Called his brother. His brother did a presentation for our group. He's like, "You guys, if you got your paperwork together, you got your documentation, your P&Ls, even if you don't have that, bring it to me. I'm gonna get you started. I can work all this: construction, residential, cash out, refinance, da 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 da." Like he been doing commercial loans for years, but
Oh,
I would have never got that dude's access to get
Ericka,
me on my round of funding if I didn't do.
Ericka,
Oh, I bet
you
this
know
again.
what?
Oh, sorry, something's making
Here's
noise.
where I got to step in, and I got to step on those toes a little bit. So you're gonna get mad at me, all right? Because here's the thing that we did, and I'm gonna answer this question for Grave Wolfwood. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what Muhammad Ali said: "It ain't a brag if we accomplished it." Okay, so I'm gonna say this again: it ain't a brag if we accomplished it. So here's the facts, ladies and gentlemen:
Good.
20 years we have specifically created what's called the 7 spheres of money system. Okay. In that 7 spheres of money system, what Ericka, you just said about commercial real estate, mortgage, you know, preparation, we actually have mortgage bankers. They got 20 years in the game that can do anything from mobile homes to hotels to REIT private properties. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? They look just like you. And matter of fact, my guy name is Steve Tolliver, and he's part of the 7 spheres of money team. I have purposely put together a team of high-level professionals that can do everything that you need from cradle to grave if the first thing you do is get yourself assessed. So now I'm going to answer the question of Grave Wolford. A little off topic, but how do I do you have any advice for people in their 40s who have never invested? Absolutely. First things first, you need to get into an assessment of where you are in your 40s. What is your emergency fund? Do you have a Roth IRA? Are you fully funding your 401k? Do you have dividend stocks? But the only way you can do that, Grave, is to get an assessment of your financial household first and foremost. After you got that assessment, then you'll go through a risk tolerance questionnaire that will determine legally by a licensed professional what type of investor you are based on Securities Exchange Commission and FINRA.org. Okay. There's 5 type of investors if you are not an accredited investor or a sophisticated investor, which very few people come on this platform are. Okay. 98.9% of the people that come on these platforms are one of these 5. Number 1, conservative, income, growth, aggressive, and moderate. And once you have done that, we will now show you how to place your money with licensed professionals that are been vetted, that have a minimum 15 years in the industry at the expert level and actually have trained in corporate America of Fortune 500. They have LinkedIn profiles. They have license, certifications as registered investment advisors. That means they have a 7 series license, a 65 license, does assets under management. And also they have SHPR, which is the highest level of HR certification, can help you step by step. Now, from there, you actually sit down with the accountant, even though tax day is April 17th, and you may already filed your taxes. We will start projecting what your taxable income is for 2023. And once you've done that, you will take that 1 hour a week and you will start paying yourself first in that process order. 1, emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of your gross monthly income if you're just an employee. Number 2, you will fund your company policy retirement plan, whatever the 4 number it is at your company. Number 3, if you're going to do the smart thing, you're going to invest in a Roth IRA. Number 4, you're going to get your health savings account. And number 5, if you're trying to become an entrepreneur or a small business owner, you're going to set up a SEP, a self-employment plan. And number 6, which is, self-explanatory, you're going to get the proper entity structure. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it's not always an LLC. Okay. So that will get everything in order. And once you've done that, the first 12 days of every month, you're going to fund each one of those accounts percentage wise, automatic deduction out of your check, payroll deduction, or if you're a small business owner like myself, your accountant's going to set it up and it's going to automatically take it out. And you're going to do the pay yourself first, pay yourself second, but never third policy. And for the next 15 years, Grave, if you have a 7% rate of return in your vehicles that I just showed you, you can still have $250,000 to $500,000 set aside if you never invested in your 40s, and especially if you're doing it up until age 65. And the first thing you got to do is get the assessment. And how you can get the assessment, you can actually start by getting into the master class, and we will do that for you. So that's how you go about conducting your business the proper way. Because anything else, you are wasting time. But here's the great thing. Time is still on your side once you get the right team of professionals who are licensed, experienced, and have the knowledge to help you create success and succession planning and legacy for you guys and girls. That's the most important piece. So I think if you take your time and you look at this in the replay, step by step, these are the things that will help you accentuate your future. And don't worry. I know people watching this live and people watching this on the replay, and they're looking at their debt structure. Again, I had a ton of debt. But if you start today and systematically getting yourself out of debt and then get yourself a FIN number, which is the financial independent number, we can actually tell you the date, the time when you'll be out of debt and the rate of return that you can catch up, because the government allows you to catch up. So you can start catching up on these vehicles and you can actually start getting ahead in the crawl, walk, run strategy. So don't look at where you are today. Look at where you want to be at the end of 2023, 2024, 2025, 2027, 5 years from now, and get yourself a 60-day plan to address your immediate needs, a 1-year plan, and a 3 to 5 year plan, and just do the 4 dirty little words. Number 1, you got to have discipline. Number 2, you got to have accountability to a proven system. I believe, in my humble but expert opinion, that the 7 spheres of money system is the best system on the planet for middle class and working class professionals, because we've been doing it for 20 years. Number 3, you need to actually access the people. And number 4, you need to put the work in. And if you put that plan of action together, you can have success, and you could be in $250,000 of debt. And in 5 years, you could be totally debt free from that $250,000 of debt. And you could have yourself a 4 to 5 figure passive income established. And I give you 3 reasons, and the first 2 don't count, that I can guarantee, if you're willing to do the work, how that is accomplished. I have one good friend of mine who had a 7-figure debt in the Great Recession in 2012, and he was able to pay it all off in 5 years. And now today he has 7 figures in dividend stocks, and his income didn't change, drastically. He just made some changes in his habits. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things. So hopefully I answered that question for that person. But if you're not serious, hey, I'm going to be honest with you. Don't sit down with the professionals and waste his or her time. I'm a lot like Ericka. Stop whining about, hey, man, I need a refund on this $14 product. I need a refund on that. If you don't value the professional's time, guess what? Just go to LegalZoom, go to Jackson Hewitt, go to all those Walmart services out there, and you get what you pay for.
Hey, everybody, listen, I want you to hit the like button right now if you like this information. I keep putting the link for DJ. If it's not working, it's also in the description. I will post it again. Please give me a break. If you look up, I posted it by itself where it has the triangle. Check
And
it out for
I
me.
got some special stuff for him, Ericka.
Let
I
me
got
know if
these
that's
7 tips.
working. Sorry, not that part. It's over here. Anyways, you guys, if you see the link is not working, let me know. Try to test it out again. There's over 265 people were in here. Make sure y'all hitting the like button. You know, you guys love it when I come on here on the silly stuff, and I appreciate that. But also, come support the educational stuff. Come support where we're trying to help you push. Because I tell you like this. I told DJ when I was in Africa, my summer, I'm going to Belize. I'm going to do some other stuff. I got new construction going on. I got debt repayment. I had to fight the IRS. I had a couple different things going on. But at the end of the day, we get to determine our life. We get to plan and script our life the way we choose. And it comes from facing our issues, facing our problems, and making a plan. Right? And
I purposely wore this shirt today because a lot of times, we got illness. Take the I, replace it with we, and it creates wellness. And that's what we need to do in our community, Ericka, is that we need to actually, practice and be accountable to cooperative economics, practice and be accountable to cooperative economics. And I'm going to share with them how important that is. So you don't have to play the blame game. Here's the thing. I do business with everybody. Most of my business in corporate America is with, Caucasians. That's just the facts. But you know what? They do business with me because I'm best in class at what my team does. You follow me? But the next thing is I don't get the scrutiny that I get from our own people. Right. I get less scrutiny from the other guy than I get from my own people, but you don't scrutinize them. Why is that? Because you don't vet them and you don't have an accountability of whom you're dealing with. That's the reality. And,
go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated. Let me tell you something. I've had 6 different marketing and consulting firms out of LA be like, what can we do to get you either to do this TV show or to do this other thing? And I was like, first of all, I ain't doing no drama shows in Atlanta. That ain't me. I ain't doing that. Number 2, hey, if you're talking about marketing something, let me know, right? But again, you guys have to put yourself in a position where you can say no to certain things. You can say no to money that ain't good money. All money ain't good money. You can say no to, I'm not going to let go of my likeness and the possibility of having a website in my own name and certain things in my own name just so I can be on a TV show. That's not worth it, y'all. I can show you the numbers and money you can spend and get your own name out there, right? I'm literally going to events and they're like, man, hey, let's work together. You're in Austin, Texas, just the city you're in. I want to work with you. You guys have to really take an assessment of where you're at financially because nothing's really holding y'all back. There's no reason why these immigrants come here and in 2 years, they killing it. They just have the same access to the same computer you do, same access to fill out an application that you do. You really have to make a decision. So, DJ, can I show them the video? Because we're going on about an hour here.
Yep.
Somebody said, I appreciate you answering their questions. Okay. Let me get over here.
That's awesome. Congratulations. And here's the thing. Hey, you are making it over.
I think it's a good area to invest.
I want to be part of the team that first embraces sustainable development in construction in Africa, and this all turns out to be one of the first projects that I came across.
This all was a no-brainer of an investment. I mean, the Paje area, I visited Paje in 2016, and I thought I'd love to live in Paje, and to hear that there was a project in Paje, it was a no-brainer. So I came along, had a look at the project and what CPS was doing, and I thought, they're doing a brilliant job, so I'll be interested in one of those. It's a different development, and yeah.
I'm called here, and I love Zanzibar.
And we love you.
I love Zanzibar. I really do from my heart. So thank you so much. This is an exciting day for me. And I hope other people can see that elders can come here and enjoy this paradise.
Yeah.
I am just so happy. I don't know how to express it any other way than that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, I was born in Panama, but I lived in the U.S. for many years, retired in 2008, and went back to Panama. And I'm here because of COVID, so I have to give thanks. I fell in love with Zanzibar when I landed here running away from the United States, and I'm very happy to be here because the people are wonderful. It's a peaceful country, and I think I'm going to die here. It's so diverse. People from all walks of the planet live in both of these places. I love the peacefulness and the staff. I have to say the staff is beautiful and helpful. I have never had any issues with staff members, and I learned how to adapt. Oh man, I feel like.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what you just saw is actually a project that we're bringing to you that Ericka showed a video last time we were on here. And here's the amazing thing is that organization, that lady at the end, Mama Sonia, we actually worked with her directly while we were in Zanzibar, directly. The gentleman that was popping the champagne, that's Sebastian, who is the CEO of CPS, who we actually sat down with 3 times while we're in Africa twice. Why is that important? Because we're actually on the cutting edge of doing something amazing. So what I want you to do, I want you to pick up this book, Africa Rising. I don't get not $1 out of this book.
We're not even putting Amazon links out here today.
Right. So check this out.
This book, gonna do it tomorrow though.
This book was written in 2011. And Ericka, everything that I read in this book, when Sebastian told me to pick it up, I saw 90% of it actually already happening in Zanzibar. And that was 11 years ago. Why is this important? Because we're actually in that unit that they showed, the soul, we're taking down 22 units in that same complex and a partnership in cooperative economics. And Ericka has the video of me actually in the site, walking through the facility. That actually is phase 1 that was just completed. And that property has already grown by 500% in appreciation in 2 years. Why is this important? I want you to go back and do research and study. I'm a numbers and a historian. If you had the chance to invest in Dubai, if you had the chance to invest in Vegas, and if you had the chance to invest in Disney World and the Epcot Center, you were able to go back to the future and put $1,000, would you do that? Real talk. Real talk. That's that is actually $83 a month. Okay. So what we're going to show you in our master class by our licensed professionals, we're going to show you everything that we're doing in Zanzibar right now. When Ericka showed in one of her videos, in her Zanzibar video, she says, hey, DJ was out buying property while we out here partying. That's exactly what I was doing. So
I was napping.
And partnership with CPS to bring this experience and opportunity to you for American opportunity, which is an exclusive. But you can't get any of this information unless you get into our master class. But we're going to show you how you, once you've been assessed, I want to say this, assessed by a licensed professional. I'm not selling you financial advice or anything, but in the master class, I will put you in front of licensed professionals. We will assess you. And if you are assessed and you can afford to invest $1,000, you'll better have ownership in a $60 million project right now that, in my humble but expert opinion, can't guarantee you anything. In 5 years, it'll be worth $300 to $400 million. And here's the reason why I say this, Ericka, because this is an elite peninsula where the well-to-do of the top 1% come to vacation. Isn't that not true, Ericka? When we were there, who were the people in Zanzibar at them high-end resorts?
Europeans, Germans, all of Europe was out there living their best life.
The sheiks, the people from the UAE,
Indians.
all of that. So these people have determined this is the next hidden gem in the world for the best exotic experience on the planet. And once they determine that, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to become that. And it's rated in the 2 top destinations in the world out of the top 20, including Maldives and Mauritius. This is on the southeast coast of Tanzania, sitting on the Indian Ocean, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to take a group of people back there with us in the end of August, first week of September, and you're going to be part of this new initiative where you own a part of legacy, where you don't have to beg anybody for it. And I'm going to show you how that works. Yeah, check it out.
This is some of my clips from stuff from my trip. But you guys can definitely check the links out. I know we're hitting 1 hour and 9 minutes. I want you guys to, I don't want you to zone out or anything, but somebody asked how much is the master class. And this is Zanzibar, everybody. So this again is from my other clips. So trying to get to where.
Yeah, show them where, there we are.
He didn't wait for me to come. He just went and did what he wanted to do. But you know you can do that when you have what?
The P.O.M lifestyle. That's plenty of money, peace of mind. You got to come. There's the units right there.
Here's a low level unit, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom unit. And you can see right there, you got a view of the Indian Ocean. This is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath with a terrace. You see that? Two-bedroom, 2-bath.
We're gonna show them, Ericka, how they can be part of a 10-figure opportunity in the next 5 years. But all they have to do, the investment for the masterclass, ladies and gentlemen, is 90% off for $197. Let me tell you what you get from the masterclass. Number one, the most important part, you actually get a consultation with me to sit down and give you an assessment, which I charge $500 for 30 minutes of my time. And I get that every day of the week because I'm not a YouTuber. Okay. Number two, if you are a part of the first 20 people to invest in a masterclass, I'm going to give you an actual sit down with my CPA. And I'm going to throw in our registered investment advisor. So that alone, them 3 consultations, that's $1,500. In addition to that, you're going to get the digital course, Family Finance 101, that the Montgomery Regional Airport in Alabama uses, the state of Illinois uses. It breaks down everything about money because I created this course in the analog world for ERISA. Look up what ERISA is. I do employee benefit planning for these corporations across the country. Then you're going to get a live 2-hour master class that I'm going to break everything down from A to Z. And I'm going to show you how you can invest in mobile homes, how you can invest in Zanzibar, and how you can invest in yourself. And in 3 to 5 years, we can help you develop a 6-figure passive income by getting consumer debt free, get your credit on path to 800 in less than 30 days. I'm not going to get your 800 credit score in 30 days. I'm going to build a foundation for you, ladies and gentlemen. You understand? And I'm going to give you all of that for an investment of $197.
All right, you guys, listen, we're going to get out of here, but I want you to check this out. This is the page I'm showing you right now. You should be able to see it. This is all the things you get with your consultation and that 197. Okay. And then I showed on accident, but I went ahead and showed it. It's the other link. If you want to join DJ in the Pom lifestyle, you can go to Zanzibar with them, or you can do Mexico. What are the dates for Mexico?
So that's going to be Memorial Day weekend.
What's the date?
And we're going to talk about that in the master class. And Zanzibar is going to be the 3rd weekend in August or the 1st weekend in September. And this is actually, you're going to go with us as an owner. So let me leave this with you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm actually going to show you for how you can invest in a trip, write it off legally, ethically, and morally true, and also be a owner in the investment and equity. Equity and ownership is the only game we play. I want you to say that again. Equity and ownership. Don't ask me about fair, because fair is where pigs get slaughtered and you win prizes. Equity and ownership is where you own and control the narrative. Like Ericka said, I don't give away my power. I work it and I turn the tables. And I'm going to show you in the master class the actual company that we're signing a contract with that's the #1 financial institution in North America and Canada, and also what we're going to be doing with the #1 university in the NIL program. Are you hearing me? So we are here to help you, and we'll break down everything from A to Z. Because if we're good enough for Fortune 100 and Fortune 1 company, we definitely are good enough for our people, and it's all about the vetting process. You'll better meet every one of our professionals, their LinkedIn profiles, licensed professionals to help you win in the game of life. And now, just like Ericka said, you can put away $10 a week and you can be on your way to the P.O.M lifestyle. That's plenty of money and peace of mind.
Peace of mind.
And all you got to do is pay off your consumer debt, build an 800 credit score, and start buying assets strategically. So let me just give them the 7 tips. So if you don't ever talk to me ever again, see me ever again, here's 7 things you need to do. And all of them you're going to know, but you got to apply them. #1, tax day is April 17th. So if you haven't fully funded your Roth IRA or your SEP, you need to back fund it for 2021. No excuses. Because if you get a tax return and go out and party with it, shame on you, and you deserve the debt and the desperation that you'll put yourself in. So no apologies. #1, tax day, April 17th, fund your Roth, your SEP, and make sure you do that with a licensed professional CPA or accountant. Don't do the Jackson, Hewitt, or any of them. Get somebody that can work with you. #2, do dollar cost averaging with asset allocation. So after you fund 2021 and you didn't fund 2022, now systematically start putting that money for 2022 onto 2023. Y'all got that? #4, get your proper entity structure. Stop going by default with an LLC if an LLC is not applicable. Here's why LLC is not applicable: because every change in the law right now, you need to be operating in some type of corporation structure like a C or an S based on distribution for tax-free dollars for a lifetime. We'll talk about that in a master class. #5, invest in dividend stocks. And you should be looking at oil-based companies right now because of what's going on in Ukraine. That is inflated. Now, let me mind.
Make sure you put in your calendar. I'm going to go check out an oil rig from one of my friends. We're closer to Houston than we are here. So
cool.
I'll give you a call on
cool.
that day.
That's awesome. We'll do that. So here's the thing. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm telling you what the things you should be looking at when you sit down with the licensed professional. Okay, I'm going to preface that. When you sit down with the registered investment advisor, you sit down with the CPA, then you should look at this. Dividend stocks for the long-term gain. Last thing, you should be doing buying businesses. Right now is a good time to invest into businesses after you got the assessment. So let's take that again. #1, tax day, April 17th. Fully fund everything from 2021 based on the tax laws for the Roth, the SEPs, etc. #2, dollar cost averaging and asset allocation to start investing systematically the $10 a week like Ericka told you about. #4, proper entity structure. #5, dividend stocks for passive income for the long-term gain. #6, long-term strategy. And #7, buy businesses. And in those businesses, you can incorporate real estate. And first and foremost, before you do any of those 7 steps, sit down with a licensed professional, get an assessment, and you can do that all by doing the master class in the 7 spheres of money system with yours truly, DJ the Money Coach, or you can go somewhere else, whatever works for you. We're more than happy. And make sure you do it the right way for your future of your family's legacy. I'm out.
All right, you guys, listen, this is your girl, Ericka, Classy Climb Blog. You can find DJ the Money Coach at the 7 Spheres of Money. You guys, as much as I love to be here, I've got 2 more Zooms I got to get in tonight. So listen, it's been wonderful. Check DJ out at 7 Spheres of Money over there, YouTube. And somebody said, hey, listen, I got some. Listen, you guys hit them up. Go through the class.
Oh, yeah. And hit us up at our toll. We had 10 people call our toll-free number. Hit us up at 866-395-3042, 866-395-3042. We still do it the old-fashioned way for those who like to call in too, 24 hours, 365. We love you. Plenty of money, peace of mind. Come join us on the Beaches of the World Club. Peace.
All right, you guys. See you in Zanzibar if you come with us.